All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I get a phone call. Nice timing, whoever that is from Baltimore, Maryland. Welcome to Melee It On Me. Those of you that aren't aware, Melee It On Me is a Smash Brothers competitive-oriented podcast, mostly focusing on Melee. However, tonight we have a special guest, Doom. How's it going?
Going, Prague. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Word, word. We'll get back to you in a second, Doom, but let's get to introduction of the crew tonight. Tapikins, how you doing?
Doing well. Excited for all. Well, it's been a wave of emotions, but I'm doing well.
Good answer, Tapo. Up next, Juggle Guy, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, lots of stuff today, but I think we got a lot to talk about.
I think so. Next up, Sheridan, how you doing?
Well, I was originally planning on going to bed at 1:30 last night. Then I read a bunch of things, and I think I eventually got to sleep around 5.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Wow.
All right. And of course, we have a couple of special guests tonight. First up, let's back to the man we've already introduced. Doom, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing quite well, man. It's definitely been an ups and downs kind of day.
But are you doing as well as Mixplex, who just subscribed?
Thank you, guys, for the sub hype. I'm definitely doing better than Kicks. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Terrible,
Yeah.
awful cereal.
And last but not least, we've got one of the main guys who has been working tirelessly to make sure that Apex goes off the ground without a hitch. Nintendo doing it.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a rocky day, but I'm
Dude,
doing
Anna, Joe Guy, all right, Joe Guy, Nintendo and Tapo can't hear me? Okay.
What? I heard a bunch of voices. What?
Yeah, that had some overlap.
All right, well, I think we're going to skip a lot of the EU formalities on tonight. But yeah, there's really not too much to say, but we got to get into it. So, first topic of discussion tonight is, of course, would be Apex 2015. Those of you that may not be as entrenched in the scene or have been around in the scene, Apex basically is, at this point, the largest Smash Brothers tournament encompassing this year the official titles. And, well, today, I told you guys on Twitter I didn't have words for this. But I guess people wanted to subscribe and get hype, but I mean, it's kind of hard to. We're gonna cut out all that tonight because it's a night that matters. So thank you again. But the important thing is we're here to talk about current events and what's going on. So Apex 2015. If you haven't. Basically today there have been a lot of allegations brought up, some resurfacing from your past, others a lot more recent. And
I
think the mic dropped.
Uh-oh.
think
his video dropped. I don't see any movement.
I can't hear Prague anymore.
yeah. I think Prog's mic was pretty shaky too.
Yeah.
Dang.
Someone else
wanna
from
pick
Melee
up?
It On Me?
Yeah.
Sheridan, why don't you pick up?
So I'm not sure exactly when this first popped up, but yesterday, presumably, let's see, 17 hours ago, we had a Reddit post called "The Truth About Apex Tournament Host Alex Strife," in which a person named Kiwi detailed some of her past
it looks like the call ended.
experiences. Prague, you're back?
Oh, yes, no?
No, I don't know.
All right, keep going.
I think so.
Okay.
Up here, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, there we
Yeah.
go.
I can hear you.
Shouts to my roommate. Yeah, continue, Sheridan.
So this post, described. I don't want to speak onto what, what made this person decide to post their experiences, but it inspired a lot of other people to talk about what they had encountered in their experiences with Alex Strife, and this is primarily females in the community who noticed, I guess, a trend of behavior that was really unwanted towards them and consistent from Alex Strife. And as a result of that, Alex has decided to step down from being the head of Apex 2015. And as far as I know, the logistics is all set, but he is no longer considered the head of Apex as of now.
Yeah. Reaction from the team. I don't know who wants to start, but yeah, I mean it's kind of a lot to take in, the 4 Reddit posts.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone have thoughts?
I'll
that
go
you'd like to
after
start
I mean,
after the melee on me, guys.
Do you want to say something?
Melee It On Me was started to talk about issues that pertain to the community. And this is a big one. Over the last year especially, we've had a lot of ladies in the scene kind of express their experiences. And a lot of people have said, no, these things don't happen. And well, it looks like a lot of people are facing the facts as to what is going on behind the scenes that we may not all know about or be exposed to. It's rough. It is extremely rough. But I really, I don't know. I don't have the words really today. This is a really, really, it's a horrible situation. I mean, I posted on page where, no words can do any sort of healing to those who were on the receiving end. Part of being human is that we all err, we all mess up, none of us are infallible. But the thing is, you learn from them, and you learn from your mistakes, and I think that's what the issue is. For example, the post on All's Brawl, that's ages ago, and it looks like this is still very, very recent and whatnot.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the issue is that, if you look at the thing that happened 5 years ago, I think you can get away with interpreting it as just being kind of an awkward person who has very little tact in expressing himself in certain ways to people. And one would hope that the exposure that generated from that, as small as it was, should be enough to learn a lesson from that in the future. But it seems that that wasn't learned, and we've had, I don't even know what the count is, number of people express kind of similar experiences with Strife. So, it's it's the lack of desire to change, I think, that maybe is the most important thing to me in how I put all of this together.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been, talking about what's next. And, of course, I've heard people calling for bans and whatnot. And that's kind of one of the downfalls of being a grassroots organized group. There's no governing body or anything. Past bans have mostly been locally, and then, word spread. People who ran events on major scale kind of like agreed to it.
Right.
Agreed to the discretion based on the local scene and whatnot. But I'm not going to hold up anyone else. But if anyone else, of course, I know Doom got a lot to say. But
this is it's kind of tough for me to see these posts because, like, just from my personal experiences, Alex Strife, he's always been nice to me. He gave me my first opportunity to be like an Apex qualifier, kind of on the big stage for the Midwest tournament back in 2011 with the very first Big House. That was kind of born from an Apex qualifier type of deal. And, I mean, I've had my frustrating experience with him, my fair share of that over the years. But I think over the last, recently, over the last year, I noticed a big improvement in some of my interactions. So, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, this is good. We're on the right path. But then some of these things that are posted are pretty recent. They're 2014 things, and it's just kind of a little disturbing. And there's a lot of things that just are not okay. And I can't really describe it much better than that. That's just my personal perspective right now.
Right.
I think I share what you guys all share, so I'm not going to say much in regards to this. Doom had something to say though.
Yeah. So I mean, I've worked with Apex pretty closely before, most notably in 2012 when Juice was like really involved with running the show. It's the first year that we added fighting games actually to Apex, Marvel and Street Fighter and stuff. So I've gotten some insight as to how things are run over at Apex, and I've spent a lot of time with Alex Strife. He lives very close to me, and he was one of the very first people I ever met coming into the scene. And I mean, he has his moments. He is definitely a nice guy with good intentions. He, most of the time he tries to do what he can, but I mean, that said, it is impossible to ignore, some of the gross violations of just human interaction that have gone down involving Strife recently and not so recently. So just historically, really. And I mean, he has been talking a lot recently about making strives to improve and everything. But I feel like this is kind of just like, he's talking about it more than he's showing it via action, because as you guys said, a lot of this stuff is 2014 and even some 2013 stuff, whatever. I feel like the date isn't even important. It's just that it happened in general. And this is repeated behavior, and the inability to learn from mistakes is really something that we can't take so seriously. But I'd say one silver lining in all of this, it's very funny. Nakat, another New Jersey, New York area Smash 4 player, and I had the same words without really even consulting with each other or reading what we had wrote. But it was something to the effect of that Apex expands further past this guy. He is not the end-all be-all when it comes to Apex Tournament Series. In fact, from my time working with them, I can tell you that he is actually a very minimal part of pretty much anything. He just happened to have his name all over it, and that leads to the association, especially to people out of the region, like, oh yeah, Alex Strife, he's obviously the head guy in charge of Apex. But I feel like behind the scenes, that really that wasn't the story that went down. He was very inactive on the site of every tournament that I can recall. Every Apex event I've been to, he did very little at the actual event. And even from what I can tell in the pre-planning phases, he was far less influential than people like Christmas, than people like Chibo, DM Brandon when they worked for him. even today, we see a lot of the work fall on some of the people who get a lot less recognition out of Apex. And one of the things that always kind of irked me about Apex was that it was like Alex Strife's baby. It always had to be Alex Strife's baby all the time, and like he almost had this undertone of like doing it more for his own validation than for the community. And like those of us who were a lot closer with him, we could tell like when he got up on the stage before finals every year and like gave some attempt at a touching speech, and I mean, to be honest, it was kind of cringeworthy every time. Everyone seemed to agree with that.
I distinctly remember in one of them he said, "Thank you for doing this for me," as if, I mean, that was our motivation for it.
Right.
But I mean, I actually, that doesn't come that much of a surprise to me, and I don't know that I condemn him that much for it, because my understanding had been, at least for the last few years, that really his thing was just getting people together to make it happen, and getting the connections and the sponsorships, and then once he gets people together to do it, he delegates the responsibility and they make it happen. So unfortunately, I do think that kind of lends itself to him being the name associated with Apex, for better for worse. But I don't think that much surprises me, and I think that's kind of what I would expect a large organization to be like anyway.
Right.
But
I mean,
it is a little disingenuous that he gets. I mean, that it's his name, and not as many of the other co-TOs, I'll say, are really credited or known for their participation.
Right. I have to say, what breaks my heart the most is that Christmas is not the face of Apex, because that woman busts her ass doing everything possible for the scene, and it's outrageous how little credit she gets. And I mean, I'm not trying to change topics at all, but like when that kind of person doesn't get the recognition, and like this person who's a walking PR disaster is the one who's like viewed as the guy who gets the sponsors and puts everyone together, I still feel like disingenuous is definitely a good word. It doesn't really attribute the credit where it's due, and I feel like having Alex as the head of Apex and like the main figurehead, moderately irresponsible, if blunders like this are going to happen, and majorly irresponsible even. And this was not the first time that we saw it. Like overnight, a lot of people probably saw this side of him for the first time, but after Kiwi had posted her blog initially in 2010, so I feel like the fact that people didn't take it that seriously back then, and it didn't get that many views, even it was on a pretty remote corner of the internet, over on All Is Brawl, just one of her blogs, and she's not like a top name player, so that thing doesn't blow up immediately. But now you're in the limelight, and with things like him threatening to step down every year, and like that eventually got picked up by some major esports publications this time when the PM death threats were happening, or that whole debacle. He made his almost annual threat to step down. So
right.
I mean, I feel like this was really like, this was in the running, or in the making rather. This was his due diligence, I suppose, because there have been multiple instances in which I really wouldn't feel comfortable with this person representing our scene at the highest level. This, Apex is literally the apex of the Smash community. So I feel like to say Apex is going to, possibly gain a bad name, that would be terrible. It's not his face who should have been on it in the first place. We shouldn't be judging the tournament series at all based on this. It's mainly like, it's the efforts of people like Christmas, Nintendo, Chibo, and plenty of others who have come and gone from the staff even, that we should really be thanking for the successes of Apex. And while this is definitely like a huge stain on our scene's reputation, it's just kind of like showing the true side of what like the people close to this have already known and seen. Now it's just brought to light. So it's unfortunate that it had to happen in such an explosive way, but it happened nonetheless. And we've just got to pick up the pieces, move on from this PR disaster. It's not something that can be undone, of course, and there's no like true justice. We gotta just deal with it, roll the punches from here on forward.
Well, I mean, I, you know, sorry off, but it's, you know, I want to go back to, I guess, what I said in the basement again. You know, this, we've all worked really hard for making the scene so open and keeping diversity and whatnot as a huge tenet. But
I have a
I don't
couple
know.
things.
You know, I mean, I'm just gonna say one more thing before I let you
Sure.
go, Joe.
Sure.
You know, we have to make sure that, you know, things like this don't fall off the radar. You know, 2010 was when the first allegations were made, but you know, I don't think we were nearly as organized as a scene at all, not even close. But this, you know, we're moving forward. This is 2015, and we've all taken great strides. However, this isn't something that starts and ends with him and his behavior. Like I said earlier, you know, we had ladies in the scene talk about their experiences, and a lot of people wrote them off. And well, now we're seeing why, you know, people don't come forward, because, well, you're immediately questioned and whatnot. And of course, you know, you always want certainty and things like that. But, you know,
Yeah, and I think
that
especially
we do more listening.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry if I
Sure.
at all sounded like I lost sight of the fact that the victims are one of the, if not the primary concern here. I mean, you never want to feel uncomfortable at a Smash tournament, especially on such a level. You don't want to feel like you're part of a community that makes you feel unsafe. So yeah, please guys, don't think that I at all lost sight of that. It absolutely, my greatest sympathies are with the victims of Strife's harassment. That's something that no one should have to undergo, especially in a hobby that should be a safe space for everyone.
right, and I think especially, you know, what Prague was talking to about how women feel in this community. You know, if this is what your leaders are doing and it's taken this long to address it, then you don't have to have much empathy to realize why there may be some women who just are extremely reticent, hesitant to, you know, to expose themselves to this community. So I just ask, you know, have a little bit of understanding on the part of other people. But I also want to say that let's not forget that Alex Strife hasn't had the chance to say his part on this yet. And it doesn't matter. I mean, pretty much every scandal that's happened that we've covered, always the other side has something to say about it that is important to understand about the whole situation. You know, I don't think he's going to deny that any of this happened, but still, it's important to understand his side of the story, his mindset, his feelings, in order to make a final judgment about him as a person. Because, you know, there's a difference between an awkward person just really not learning from their experiences and someone who's just really predatory in nature. So let's watch out.
It's extremely disheartening. I mean, Nintendo, you're on the staff, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nintendo should
I
have a chance to say a few thoughts.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt anyone. I have a bunch of, I guess, jumbled thoughts, so I'll just hit one at a time. The first one is, so I don't know if I'm just good at being oblivious, but I actually was in the dark about almost all this, so it was a huge shock. I was up at 4 a.m. last night trying to work on some logistics stuff. And then I saw this thing on Reddit, and I was really too tired to like digest it at the time. Then I woke up in the morning, 4 hours later, and I saw it just totally blew up. And it was really hard to digest like what had just happened. And like, it was also a tough spot for me because, so like it pretty much turned into a witch hunt. And witch hunts are banned on Reddit, and they're bad for a variety of reasons, which I won't get into right now. But not only am I on the Apex staff, and I'm also pretty much the leader of the Reddit community. So I was kind of trying to tackle it from both sides. One thing that I think, I guess, happened on Reddit that made it blow up a lot was, so it started with like the sexual harassment allegations, and then I'd say the witch hunt really started when it became into like everyone is dumping all their Alex Strife stories, and I feel like when everyone just started dumping as much, random, post every bad thing he's done in his whole life thing on Reddit, when that started happening, I think that at least the Reddit community definitely lost sight of what the important issue was, which really went down to sexual harassment in the Smash community. So that's I guess that was my first thought on this. People were talking earlier. I know, Max, you're talking about how Strife doesn't actually have as huge a role as people on the outside may think, and I can definitely confirm that. Strife is really good at getting people to show up to the events and forming relationships with partners and sponsors, and he's really good at that. But a lot of almost all the other work is done by other people on the staff, and because of that, we're able to move forward without him. Because again, the attendance and the sponsors and partners, that groundwork has all been laid out already.
Well, I mean, so I guess just to get a couple things out there. So Apex 2015 is still going to happen, and he has already stepped
definitely
out once again for anyone that has been under a rock. I know a lot of ladies in the scene who are wondering. I'm not sure if you have any insight, but will he even be in attendance?
I hate to be the first to say it, but I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, that's another matter. I think that should be dealt with. The other thing I wanted to say, just to echo on Sheridan's thoughts. So I mean, these things are out there. These posts, these Reddit posts, these screenshots and everything, and obviously, barring some enormous conspiracy, these are things that happened, right? So it's not like Alex Strife's going to come out and straight up deny a lot of these things. But I do want to definitely make people keep in mind that, yeah, there's different sides to the story, and it's not really about, there's a really good post by Michigan Smasher that I read. It's not really about guilty or not. That's not the point. It's really just there's other facts that we might not be aware of that might shed more context to the situation, and I just would like people to at least give Alex Strife the opportunity to address those, even if you kind of already have conclusions in your mind. I think with any sort of scandal, any incident like this, you at least should hear things out if all the parties have something to say. So
Right.
it is still it's just kind of something that happened this morning when everybody started posting about it, right?
And I think being able to hear his side of the story also, because when you hear all this stuff just from one side, you create your own image of what Alex Strife the person is. And everybody's going to come up to a bunch of different conclusions. And without his side of the story, we don't really have a good way of coming to a judgment about him as a person. And I think that judgment is also plays a large part in what we do moving forward, whether he's someone that's going to be welcome in our community sometime in the future, or or what. So I think it's like,
sorry to cut you off, but
nah, I'm done.
when it comes to speaking or hearing his side of the story, I mean, I don't even know if I mean, on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, there's no end to it. It's it started with 1 and 2, then it just keeps going on and on to the point where it looks like it's habitual. And I mean, this is something that I think we thought we would touch on a bit. I'm not sure. But we were talking earlier, he's had his own issues in the past. And yeah, it's one thing when you're learning from them, but I think that's the question, and the answer is, well, it doesn't look like the learning is what we kind of are hoping for the sake of the growth of the community and whatnot. I mean, this growth community, there are things that have happened, and well, a lot of hurt people because of it. Like I said before, I don't have the best words for this, so just wants to speak up by all means.
Yeah, I think that, going forward, a lot of people, everyone who's notable in the scene, should just invite some criticism upon themselves to make sure that, we don't have another disaster like this. I think everyone, needs to just be open to the idea that they're not doing things perfectly, and, if there's any beef, squash it pronto, because right now there's no room for enemies in the scene with us in such a fragile state like this. And as far as the case of Alex Strife, I mean, he has received many upfront criticisms, and when time and time again this happens and you pay minimal consequences and there's no sign of actual change in its habitual behavior, I mean, that's when maybe we need to take it a step further, and maybe the guy needs professional help, and probably definitely needs professional help before we welcome him back to the scene in such a way. But I mean, I don't like to create outcasts or anything, but I do think that some time off would be a good thing. It would make a lot of people a lot more comfortable. He definitely has some things that he needs to sort out on a personal level. So at this point, the issue may be out of the Smash community's hands. It may have far superseded our capabilities. So maybe professional is where he needs to go next. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we should just, we should all just stick together and make sure that we all are working to make a better scene all the time.
Right, and I think now that he's left voluntarily the Apex for now, I think the focus has to be on what did we learn from this, and have there been mistakes in how we've handled this that led to this, and what can we do in the future. And as for the mistakes part, I mean, I don't know. It's really difficult to ascertain that, because we know that Alex Strife is a difficult person to interpret sometimes, and I've never perceived him as a malicious person at all. So I think, I have no idea how much of everything the Apex staff knew or didn't know beforehand. So it's hard to know how to proceed from there. But I do think in past instances, the Smash community has been pretty good about dealing with at least some of the larger known, of course, evidence.zip may be the kind of the benchmark for how we deal with that kind of thing. But we also had to deal with Unknown and Curb Kaze a while back, and I think we handled that pretty well too.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it's difficult to. This is a community leader and not just a really good player, and we all want the same standards to apply, but at the same time, we want to hold our community leaders to a higher standard, but at the same time, it's also more difficult to create that drama and replace them. And I think that's kind of created that's why there's been this 5-year-long pattern that's only kind of blown up now. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, none of us. Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
I think just like continuing to just create a environment for people to come up to speak, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a few people that may know about the incidents, but I think creating an environment where we don't demonize even the people that are bringing this up. I saw a lot of, I know this isn't reflective of the community, people are accusing some woman of, crying for attention, and I think that's awful. And I think just like moving forward, like we got to create an environment that we can encourage this kind of dialogue for people to open up and say, this is what's going on, please support me. And I think if we can do that, I think we'll be in a lot better place than we are now, even last year.
I agree. We can't have this victim blaming or skepticism.
I have no
it's
idea
coming.
what the other games would be, because I think everybody knows Street Fighter and Marvel kind of shoe-ins. They bring in such huge entrants. Now everybody's on their feet. They're biting their nails. They want to know, what is the next game?
The next game is Super Smash Bros. For Wii U.
Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. All of the new Smash players are now going to get their little max on the big stage. You did it. You gave it to them.
We think there's a lot of new blood coming into the scene.
Despite the chat blowing
Smash
up in the
community is
opposite direction.
incredibly strong.
Absolutely.
And they showed that with their numbers in these upcoming tournaments. And
Well, I mean,
I
there's
think a
still
lot of
games
people are
to
like
announce.
playing this like a real competitive game, even though maybe the producer says it's not a real competitive game, but there's people out there that are playing it like it's a real game.
Right.
And we want to see what they have to offer.
So, from your experiences, do you expect the same players from other
I
Smash games to
where do
be
we
the
go
big dogs
from here?
on the Wii U already? Or do you feel the community might be so
it's-
split or whatever that we
that's
might
the
just get a
question.
whole new
Where do
top
we go
8
from here?
of players that nobody's ever
And,
seen
well,
before?
I think
It's
the
a new
biggest thing is
game.
we have to continue
Anything is
creating
possible. I
this
think
environment, like we said earlier, where people aren't afraid to speak up and whatnot.
I love when old players defend it on newer games and they still have the skill to let play. So
I don't know.
That would be a great thing if it came around.
Well, is that?
Actually, I had a little experience. I played Smash for the Wii U not too long ago for the very first time. And to be truthfully honest, it's like my first experience with a Smash game in general. So I didn't
Nick,
know
can we switch the audio to the EVO lineup
at Smash, but I
reveal
think a lot
right
of
now?
these
Is that
players,
possible?
The people that play this game, their skill levels is through the roofs.
Right.
Anybody that says Smash is like not a technical or skill game needs to be
I
smacked.
think moving forward, I thought about like all the possibilities of what could be released at
That's the
EVO,
Micross we love.
And
Sorry, I'll calm down.
at the end of the
I got a
day,
little
everything
hype.
is good
I
for Melee.
apologize.
Every outcome.
And now I'll say this next one for Mr. Wizard and everybody watching at home. Hey, Mr. Wizard, what's the 4th game?
The fourth game will make a lot of people happy because it's a series coming back to EVO. It hasn't been here in a while, and we're glad to have it back. But it's the new Guilty Gear.
It's very
Guilty
proud
Gear
that overall
XRD. I don't even know how to
we
pronounce
handled
it.
this very well.
Yeah, I would echo that sentiment. I was really impressed by all the support given to the people who shared their stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also very pleased that on the Apex side that we were able to, like as a group, like move forward with, you know, a mutual decision on Alex Wright's decision to step down before things got too out of hand. It's definitely a really crazy morning, but I mean, considering the cards you were dealt, I was pretty satisfied with the outcome, at least for now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't know what.
I mean,
I think it was the right response. So
So I mean, there's no easy transition, but do you guys want to share your thoughts on this EVO lineup show so far, and whether there's any chance of Melee being that 8th game at the end?
well, I guess I'll speak first. I said after EVO last year that no matter what, because of how dope of an event it is, you know, I was on the way, especially because I went 0-2 in Marvel, and I want to avenge myself. God, sorry, I'm still, you know, kind of on the other topic from before. But, you know, it's well, I guess, you know, I'll stay with this topic for now. Yeah, Smash 4, I said before, definitely deserves a shot, and it's a great opportunity for the growth of any scene. I mean, Melee definitely knows the growth and the experience that EVO can bring. So definitely congrats to Smash 4, and anyone out there who's thinking of being idiots about it, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Don't be.
I highly recommend not doing that.
Please
Yeah.
be nice.
There'll be a few out there. I'm pretty sure if I go on Twitter right now, someone is typing in all caps and yelling at the computer.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, if you're looking at numbers, you know, Smash 4 at Apex look like it's off to a huge start. EVO definitely can kind of magnify that signal by a lot. That said, they are announcing another game right now, and it is...
Yep, they're still announcing, but okay.
You know what's this reminds me of? It's like the Toy Story toys looking over the window to see what presents are getting brought. This is what reminds me of. We're just like all like eagerly looking. Anyway, I like the
Killer Instinct.
Oh, Killer Instinct. Okay.
Killer Instinct.
Okay, yeah.
Love me some Saberwolf.
I wish I
eight,
knew.
8 is the total.
Yeah.
I read that somewhere. I don't actually know if that's a thing.
It's usually 7, but I feel like, what are we at, number 6 now?
This is 5.
Oh, 5. All right.
That was the 5th one, yeah.
See, I feel like Melee still has a shot because the unique amount of entrants that Melee and Smash 4 together would generate, I don't see that being beaten by any 2 fighting games that aren't Smash. I feel like both Smash 4 and Melee could pull like 800 plus unique entrants, and like not even Marvel is going to get that many total. So
Yeah,
the
but that
whole
may not
business-
be be there.
The whole argument with the optimizing the attendance, I think everybody kind of knows that. Everyone in the Smash community. I do recognize that it might be hard for the EVO organizers and the FGC in general to recognize that also, because Smash is kind of an anomaly as a series in that we have a 13-year-old game that's super, super popular, right? And we have the new game that's also really popular, but a very different crowds at a lot of these tournaments. So I think that might be hard for somebody to wrap their head around. And I don't know how much research they did. We'll see. But that's something I'm curious about.
It definitely set a precedence too, because EVO's never really done that before, where they've had like two games. We view them as like two unique games, but like they view it as in like a linear series, and so this would definitely set a precedence if they were to do it. So yeah, I don't really have my hopes up, but I'm still gonna support it, and I think this is like the one thing I'll have for the Melee community. If you guys are a bunch of jerks and like just mean about this, like no one wants to join your community. Like you can like say, yeah, like EVO sucks.
One coming.
Smash 4 sucks, but you've just alienated yourself from an entire group of people by doing that.
And you can already see some nasty things pouring in, unfortunately. So
has EVO never had two games from the same series as main games in the same year?
Well, I mean, they have a couple of times, if I recall. I mean, technically Street Fighter 4 and Cross Tekken. I feel like maybe one year they had two Tekken titles.
All right, yeah, Cross Tekken is what I was thinking of. I thought there might have been a year where there were two Street Fighters.
There may have, I mean, there probably was a year. I mean, usually we do have the Tournament of Legends or the Super Turbo event. But I'm actually going to check my records right now because I had notes prepped for this, and I wish I had them available right now.
Also, Mortal Kombat boys.
Okay, we go. So Mortal Kombat is game number 6.
No, actually, I'm actually pretty hyped about MK. If any of you guys were there last year, you might remember Ed Boon actually showed up.
Oh yeah.
And I think he gave out the Raiden trailer in person, and that's good. I mean, we often see guys like Ed Boon interacting with the MK scene, and of course Ono at every EVO, but it feels like in recent memory. But going on to the earlier question, let me get back to you on that in terms of two games, same series, really being a presence time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like
technically, 2009. 2009 had Street Fighter 4, 2 Turbo, and Third Strike 2v2 teams. So there is precedent for it. Again, in 2008, Third Strike and Super Street Fighter 2. So.
But were those all like the main? I mean, when we first got to EVO, there was the 9 main games and there was a bunch of side games. So I mean, were these listed alongside with one another? Kind of in the same lineup?
Yes, those were main games.
Interesting.
Yeah, they were in the same game. They were main stage, so.
Why is the chat exploding in PJ Salt? I missed something.
Yeah, am I like it's
really hard because just to give people an idea, we're listening to the Skype audio locally. We have our own stream on, and then we also have the EVO stream on. So it's really hard to keep track.
Like
one second.
Dang, I'm in that predicament where I don't know how long this is going to take, but I also really need to go to the bathroom, but I also really want to watch.
It's not worth it, Daniel.
No,
during
I'm
the
holding
next
it.
trailer.
I'm holding it.
It out.
What's up?
Daniel has to go to the bathroom, but he doesn't want to miss the next game.
I think they're about to announce one.
Yeah, when they start number 7, just go for it, man. Make the run.
All right, let us listen to.
And yeah, guys, we're finding out at exactly the same time that you are. So.
Oh man, I feel the suspense building, but I feel like 8 is the one we really have to wait for, because like if there is going to be another Smash game, they'll probably hold it for last just to like shock everybody.
That's what they did last year. They announced 6 games, I think, and then at the end they kind of blue balled us. They're like, by the way. So we'll see. I want to reiterate again that we are about supporting the Smash community. I believe if Smash 4 is the only game the only Smash game at EVO, that it'll be still very great for the Smash community overall. That's a much better thing than Smash not being at EVO, and obviously Smash 4 hasn't gotten its chance yet, so we'll see what happens. And Melee will always have its opportunities. So I think see what these last couple games are, but Smash 4, I don't really have a problem with it. I don't think people should be, anybody thinking about taking their pitchforks out, I think you should put those away and spend that time that you would complain, spend that growing your own community and your own game instead. Just like your local scene, providing value wherever you can.
And I think,
Persona 4.
Brawls at MLG, and I think ultimately that contributed to Melee's growth in the long run.
That's true. Yeah, dude, I
really quickly, sorry to cut you guys off, but my stream died. Can we get the updated list of what has currently been announced?
Ultra Street Fighter, Marvel 3, Smash Bros. Wii U, Guilty Gear Zerd, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat X, and Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. And now he's baiting us with this last
personally, one. I think that...
Hold on, he's got it. He's got one more.
I think I'm feeling like they need a 3D representative.
Yeah, Tekken is going to be in there somewhere probably. So maybe, I don't know. Could be 9, but I don't know what to expect.
But anyway, what was I going to say?
All right, did I miss it?
Yeah. Well, sorry. But we have Guilty Gear and what, BlazBlue was in the store.
Persona 4.
Persona. So we have 2 anime games there. Although the anime scene usually isn't as large, but what is?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Hold on.
Okay.
Super Smash Brothers Melee is back in EVO.
Hold on. Yeah, I can hear Bobby out there. Scar's outside right now going crazy.
We're still a live feed just running.
I know, yeah, if you guys see the Twitch office, it would look like New Year's countdown. Like everybody's just celebrating, hugging, and kissing out there right now. That is awesome that you guys are bringing Melee back.
Amazing.
I know there were so many
I'm so happy right now.
Hey, we did it, guys.
Yeah!
Woo!
Yes! This is awesome.
This is actually
what do you know? Melee and
Omni
somehow
both Melee and Smash 4.
Melee and Omni somehow has this new post welcoming Smash 4 to EVO and welcoming
somebody has the best words per minute in the world who wrote up that article in the 2 seconds after Mr. EVO announced the lineup. There's suddenly an article on the Melee Omni website, guys.
It's almost as if you guys knew.
My goodness.
Or
I have no idea.
Maybe we had somebody write up an article for each occasion, and we
option selected.
We option selected.
The editing process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like we got obituaries for every single Smasher ready to go just in case.
Oh man, I don't know what mine. I don't want to know what mine says.
It's in
That'll
the
be
vault.
a funny. That'll make it for a funny article. Obituaries. Smash obituaries.
Top 100 obituaries.
Man. Dude, can we talk about the precedent this sets? EVO really wanted Melee. They really wanted to want Melee to make this happen, if you know what I mean. Right?
I know exactly what you mean. Because we've seen how much of a logistics, nightmare this is compared to the other fighting games for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Not only do they, they don't have a history of featuring, 2 titles from the same series of sorts, but I think we've all kind of learned in the last couple of years that the gaming industry, the esports industry, whatever you want to call it, it's evolving faster than anybody's ever seen before, and you can't really look at the precedent to predict the future. You've got to look at what's the best thing for the community, what's the best thing for this tournament, and I think, you know, anybody who came to their senses knew that Smash 4 and EVO would be the best thing for that tournament. And I'm so glad Mr. Wizard and the Cannon brothers agreed with that evaluation.
Yeah, as probably the lone Smash 4 representative on this stream right now, I've got to say,
you know, having Smash 4 and Melee present at the same event. Oh, sorry. Having Smash 4 and Melee both present, I think that's humongous. One, it definitely shows to the FGC at large that Smash is here to stay. Period. God, why am I wearing this pink shirt? I've only worn twice in my life. I've only worn in Vegas. Why am I wearing this EVO shirt underneath it? God.
Whoa!
I don't know.
You're
Anyway,
hilarious, Prague.
anyway, I think it's definitely huge having both games present. You know, there's definitely been a lot of I don't want to say rancor. It's too strong, but there's definitely been some issues in between the various Smash subsects. And usually at events where that crossbreeding is not a necessity, but it's what it definitely does help in terms of community building. So having both games there present, it's pretty humongous. So definitely a big shout out to Smash 4 and their community. If you guys have any questions about EVO and all that stuff, we've been there a few times. Any questions or anything like that, we know how to handle it. So shouts to all Smash. It was meant to be a short episode tonight. I'm okay with keeping it that way. But any words from any of you guys?
Yeah, if nobody else has anything to say.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, yeah, just real quick, as the only real Smash 4 face on this whole podcast, I gotta say I'm super happy about EVO. Now, this is the first time I've seen confirmation of it, so I just gotta get my excitement out of the way. This is, when it first was just Smash 4 and everyone was like, "Oh, rip Melee, it's not gonna happen." I had already prepared some words to say, one tournament does not define your game. It doesn't define everything or even anything. And being part of the brawl scene, I watched this happen with MLG, and we just had to kind of pull up the bootstraps and just move forward with it. So, if that were the case, I hope nobody seriously thought this was the end of Melee. And, of course, as you can see, it's on the lineup, which is really exciting to me. I love all the games. I've played Smash competitively for over half my life. Melee is very near and dear to me. So I hope nobody, mixes up the fact that now I'm active in Smash 4 as me being some kind of anti-Melee hater or anything. It's not even close to that. I love all the games. I'm really glad to see this opportunity. And now, since we're both going to be in the same house for this event, I just hope that there's an all-time high of cross-game respect. And I really would love to see some established Melee players dabble in Smash 4, maybe train up for EVO, enter the bracket, and see what it's really like. Because the game's, it's awesome. I love it. And I feel like there's a lot to offer for everyone.
Dr. Z, who's entering Smash 4 singles and doubles at Apex. And
nice.
Has yet to find a Smash 4 teammate as far as I know.
I need a Smash 4 partner.
No one's picking him up yet.
Well,
but
unfortunately, the teammate matching period is over.
They say that.
Which
you can make some
Dr.
excuses
Z
for
privilege.
Dr. Z.
Dr. Z privilege.
I know how tournaments really work. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. But no, I totally agree with everything Max just said. Remember that Settling Smash podcast a couple months ago? I think Prague, you led the charge on that. I would love to see that return, just even if it's on, I don't know, a biannual basis. Kind of check in with Smash 4 community leaders, Melee community leaders, see what's up, see how we can grow each other and help the communities out. I really think there's a lot more room. The ceiling on that kind of project is limitless, in my opinion.
I think it would be amazing if we could get, Melee and Smash 4 together and be the number 3 and number 4 games in terms of attendance, if not, all in top 3.
Yeah, and last year I think it was close to number 2, right? It was not too far away. So, dude, totally possible with with so much interest, just at an all-time high for both games. It's totally possible.
I think the fact that, if I remember the EVO pricing structure, the venue fee is like $50, and then each game is like $10 or something like that.
At least.
So
at least 50.
if you're a Smash player who only plays one game, just throw in that extra $10. Let's all play both games and just make it blow up.
I'm playing both games, and I suck at Smash 4. I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board and get some training on that. But dude, EVO is definitely one of those things where it's worth your while to enter as many games as possible just because of the pricing structure. I think it was at least $50 for venue last year, and then 10 each for each edition.
And even if we're talking about EVO 2013, I think one of the biggest things I thought was really cool was just seeing the overlap and how many players decided that they want to explore and try, new games because of EVO. I saw a lot of players getting into games like Marvel, like Street Fighter. Last year, BlazBlue, I saw so many people getting hyped over that and wanted to play. EVO 2013, G Money yelling whenever Benny Maru was doing combo and KOF.
Oh my god, KOF was great at 2013.
Smash.
Yep.
Smash, we bring hype, we bring energy. We know that's the case. We bring a lot of good stuff. And I definitely implore you to try other fighting games as well. Like Max said, hey, if you want to try Smash 4, up for EVO, by all means, definitely, man. But that said, I'm ready to close out the show, guys. I don't know about you all.
I don't know if you wanted to hit the Apex logistics thing or not.
I've got some time. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Just go ahead if you got something to say.
Yeah.
All right. I know, honestly, before all the drama today, a really big question in everyone's mind is, how are we going to run this tournament? Because it's everyone knows that Apex doesn't really have the best reputation in terms of running a well-executed event. So I guess I'll start a little bit with my history as an organizer at Apex. I'll make it really fast.
Sure.
I was brought on in 2010 as a Smash 64 organizer because I was familiar with the scene, and Strife wanted to add 64. And obviously since then it's grown. And Apex kind of got a little too big for its own good. Where the community as a whole, I feel, didn't really know how to run a tournament with so many crossover entrants and record-breaking numbers in all of the games. So Apex was a little behind in that respect. But I feel like we as a community I feel like now there's people in the community who know how to run events like that. And I was inspired by the organization of events such as EVO and Big House. And I started to step up and try to take charge of the Apex logistics and really try to make this tournament work so that people can leave the event saying that it was a well-executed event. So I guess to jump into that a little bit, one of the main pieces of the puzzle here, was something that made previous Apexes not work, is that no one can have conflicting schedule obligations.
Yes, thank you.
And that is, so in previous Apexes, there'd always be someone in the mic saying, Nairo, we need you at this station. And those would be like, oh, Music King, we need you here. And then Zero, we need you here. And it would be a nonstop, someone in the mic trying to find players. Mm-hmm. And that honestly, that's the worst.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to say that after many hours, there is a solution in which no one has conflicting obligations on day one. Now let me throw some numbers here. I think there were something like 1,700 unique entrants, and then total entrants across Smash games is like 3,700, I think. And then if you take into account the fact that all the brackets are being reverse engineered from the final brackets so that no seeding has to be done at the event itself. That means that people have to be in certain particular like round one waves to make that line up with the final bracket. So I think that adds like an additional 180 something constraints. Plus, of course, casters having to not be playing while they're commentating and taking into account people who might be advancing to round two pools. So you don't want those conflict with their round one. Like all those constraints taken into account, I think it's another 180 exceptions. Like there was a way to make it so no one has any conflicts. And this was all possible because someone who goes by CL Shortfuse sent me a message a few weeks ago, or actually not even a few weeks, a couple weeks ago, and he said that he had he could develop a program that would take the Apex entrant data and allow me to plug in, all my constraints, and then it would iterate and find a solution. And I've been working with CL Shortfuse for many hours over the past week, and together we found a way to do it.
Yo, how much money for this program? Give me a quote right now.
So
I want it for the next video.
Okay. So Shortfuse says that he wants to work on making it something public that TOs can use, and I think he wants to go with like one of those freemium models where you can use it free up to a certain number of entrants, and then beyond a certain number of entrants, you have to pay for it.
I'm gonna be a premium user.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like it's really good.
Yeah, there's another FGC tournament, UFG Ultimate Fighting Game tournament in Chicago that had a program. I'm pretty sure it was just a Python program, a scheduling constraints program just like this, and I tried to buy from them, and they weren't having any of it. So I would like to talk to.
How does EVO do theirs? Because I mean, they must have a really complicated
I
thing
think
too.
they also have a program. Everybody has one. I just use Excel, and I pretty much push the limits of Microsoft Excel. That little program, Microsoft Excel.
Excel
is loans actually. If you can be a ninja at it.
You can push it, like it takes you pretty far, but I think there is eventually a ceiling to it that something like Python or some other configuration can improve on.
So I originally had set up like basically a giant set of Google Sheets that I was going to do it in. So it was going to happen either way, but this program saved me many hours and probably a couple all-nighters, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I'm really grateful that Shortfuse. You can follow him on Twitter, by the way, at CL Shortfuse.
CL Shortfuse.
Yeah.
I'm following him right now.
I'm pretty sure he honestly he developed this program for Apex to use, and then honestly Apex is probably one of the most complicated use cases you'll find for something like this.
Right.
So
the number of games.
The number of games, the number of waves which haven't even got to yet, the number of entrants, just everything. There's this if it can do Apex, it can do anything. Let's put it that way.
Yep. That's kind of the key. Writing a program that it's not hard coded to a specific tournament format. It can work for this bracket pool format for this number of games, and you just need to input the entrants and the events that they're entering. That's the dream, right? That's the TO dream.
And the dream is there. It's alive.
That's amazing. I mean, so yeah, in past Apexes, obviously, I don't know, anybody who knows me knows that I've kind of been vocal against some of the Apex TOing quality in the past, and that's just kind of, I feel like we should hold it to a higher standard, and I really believe the foundation has been the key to all the National Smash tournaments that have run well. Foundation, you need a good foundation. I don't care if you cloned Sheridan 50 times. He could not have saved Apex 2013 from being a disaster. I'm sorry. That was the worst tournament I've ever attended, by far. Apex 2014, big improvement to Apex staff's credit. I'm not going to say bad things without mentioning that as well. And I think Apex 2015, from what I've seen so far, is going to be even better than that, like
Yeah,
easily.
I definitely
so
think
I have really high hopes. Just hearing
There's a
all this,
much larger
I'm foaming
venue
at the
this
mouth
time.
just hearing
Yeah.
all this.
There's one other well, I have a few more things I can mention, but one big thing I want to talk about is the venue itself. So obviously last year's venue was way too small. There was a lot of clear the path going on. This year's venue has 2 rooms that are roughly each equal to last year's venue. So the venue's effectively twice the size. One room has Melee and FGC. The other room has Smash for Wii U, Brawl, and 64. The floor plan is set up similar to EVO's, where there's islands of each station is an island, and then each station has TVs. So it's going to be like each island is approximately like a 6x6 table, or like 2 6x3 tables put together. And each one of those has 4 setups on it, and that's one pool. So, and then they're all islands. So there's plenty of aisles to walk in. It's really clear where your pool is because it's just an island. It's not like, when you're looking down like a row of TVs and you're like, from the pool start here, number 51, and to 55, like where's that? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It can be hard to know exactly where your pool is assigned, but that should be fixed, since every pool has its own island of setups.
Yes.
And another problem that I've noticed in previous nationals, including Big House 4 actually, is that sometimes the floor plan, I don't mean to fire shots, I'm just saying, sometimes the floor plan doesn't...
We could have improved on it, for sure.
Yeah, sometimes the floor plan doesn't take into account the fact that there's not enough room when you factor in teams. Like, teams would be like, well, we don't have enough room to sit here. And then it actually throws the floor plan out of whack when you do that, because all of a sudden people aren't sticking to the TVs that they're supposed to play on.
Yeah.
And it all kind of falls apart.
Yeah, when I think when I assign TVs to teams at do Foxwood, for example, I just only do like every other TV.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But since we have like this floor plan where everything's like an island, there should be plenty of room for teams to fit around these setups.
And yeah, you need the venue size, square footage to be able to do that. So, and I looked at the website myself because I was so curious. It looks like 20,000 square feet, which is almost double last year.
Yeah, pretty much. There's 2 rooms. Each one is like very slightly smaller than last year's venue, but it's roughly the same. For each individual room.
That's what we've needed this whole time. Apex, it needs the foundation. That starts with the venue. It starts on day 1, venue hunting. And, we finally have that big venue for Apex so that we can optimize the floor plan, so that we can create station labels for each group of Melee setups and Smash 4 setups and whatnot, so that there's better communication, so that things run on time, so that things end on time. It's all kind of one big chain reaction of events that have to happen. And from what I've seen, the first few steps of that are, 10 out of 10 so far. So I'm actually really excited.
Something else I'm going to talk about is setups. So due to our various partnerships and sponsorships, we're relying on 0 community setups.
That's sick.
We already have all the TVs, and we already have all the consoles, including even like Smash 64. Like, we have all that already.
What about Smash? Smash 4, I think, is the big question mark in terms of equipment.
We have that equipment. We have 64 Smash 4 setups.
Wow.
Full setups.
I want to hear more.
Yeah. We have 60. Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, can you Billy Mays this right now?
Where are these equipment sponsors coming from? How are you doing this?
Really quickly before we Billy Mays it, Doom, were you signing off or?
Yeah, I actually do have to get going, so I'm just gonna sign off.
Again,
dude,
thank you for hopping on the show.
For coming on.
No, thank you guys for having me. I'm really glad that you reached out to me and that I was able to offer some insight. Just my literal last words. I just want to say I'm glad that once again we're going to be in the same house, Melee and Smash 4 at EVO. I feel like a lot of the animosity was really just generated by both sides being insecure in like the future of their game and what if only one got in, what that meant for the other one. But I think we both both the Smash 4 and Melee sides of the community have proven that we have the stability to survive past any exclusion at a major tournament. And I mean, we're in the limelight now, so I don't think either game is going anywhere for quite a while, and I'm really happy to see that, and I hope that we can just coexist more peacefully and double dip with the games and see what's good. I want to see a lot of Smash 4 players see what they can bring to Melee and vice versa. So really happy to see all this stuff. And once again, thanks
So
again,
excited.
Naomi, guys.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks,
you, Zoom.
dude.
All
Yep.
right.
coming
Take
on.
care.
Thanks, Max. All right. So yeah, setups. So I see the community. I see the chat like praising me. I want to give credit where credit is due. This is actually something that Strife did, like making the setup thing happen. I think he deserves a lot of credit for making that happen.
Absolutely. Because, I'm sure Nintendo at least has something to do with the Smash 4 setups. That's been a huge problem so far, right?
Oh yeah,
Every
definitely.
grassroots event that I've seen, Smash 4 setups, that they don't happen. And I don't blame people for not bringing it. It's just kind of a natural thing that
Yeah.
we need to deal with now, right?
Yeah. I mean, like no one's gonna steal a CRT, but
Right, that's kind of one
yeah.
of the funny things. It's like our curse and our blessing, because no one's gonna steal a heavy ass CRT out of the venue. There's no random Joe's gonna do that. But now we have expensive, modern gaming monitors, and we have $500 plus value setups, and that's kind of where these equipment sponsors provide a ton of contribution.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we have 64 Wii U setups, 64 Melees, 32 Brawl, and 32 Smash 64.
Wow.
So the 4 point. Sorry.
Is this all coming from Nintendo? Are you even allowed to be discussing this right now? I want to know.
I'm trying to think of how I can word it. I just want to say that. All I'm gonna say is like it's because of our various sponsorships and partnerships.
Good answer.
Like that's honestly like all I'm gonna say right now. If that's because I don't want to like break any
Understood.
NDAs or whatever.
I was trying to get the most out of you that I could possibly could.
But bottom line, community does not have to bring setups. So what does that mean? That means that any setups the community does bring go straight to the friendlies rooms, which have their own separate rooms.
Wait, how big are these friendly rooms?
Off the top of my head, honestly, I don't remember.
I've got the information up. Give me a second for the Clarion.
I've got another
Meadowland
equipment question.
Sure.
So something that a lot of people have been trying to get, and some successfully, some unsuccessfully, is the GameCube controller adapter for the Wii U. Are people who bring GameCube controllers going to be expected to bring their own adapter, or will you have some?
To my knowledge, we already have 64 adapters, one for each setup.
Solid.
Okay.
Oh wow. That's
Whoa,
amazing.
one for each setup.
Well, each adapter has 4 ports in it.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Got
right,
it.
yeah.
Got it.
Amazing.
64
How are you
setups?
making sure that like people don't jank those? Because like I can definitely see that being a thing.
So, security is definitely something that's on our minds, especially given that there's going to be a crap ton of people here.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've like totally ironed out everything regarding security, but I've been advocating for a no bags in the main rooms policy. I think that'll help a lot. Leave your bags in your hotel rooms and in your cars.
Mango won't be able to bring in his banana and breakfast.
I never considered that one.
So
No,
but that isn't like. I mean, that's not final yet. That's just my thought on it. I'm not speaking like, I guess officially on that point.
Yeah, that's the right call to make. It's just a matter of getting the personnel to do it, right?
Yeah, there definitely will be security personnel. Like, absolutely.
Off-duty police officers or someone dedicated to doing it.
Someone dedicated to doing it.
What I'd like to hear.
Yeah. Something else I can touch on, I guess, is the tournament structure. So there was an article posted that goes over that based on like number of entrants in an event. Let me see if I can actually, if someone can just post that in the chat, that would be helpful. Actually, I got to bring it up for my own reference. I don't have it memorized.
Yeah.
But anyway, for the main games, Melee singles and Wii U singles, it's going to be 64 pools with a maximum of 16 people. Top 2 advance. I know top 2 advance is kind of a bummer sometimes, but there's just too many entrants.
Yep.
You got to get rid of a lot of them. But every round after that round is top 4 advance.
Right.
But this time, if I only lose one set, I'm not going to get eliminated, right?
Did that happen at
Apex 2013.
Is that
Like I said.
is that the one that had the 4-person like
Yes,
round 2
2012. 2012.
Okay,
No, there was a 3-way tie
2012.
for first, and he was on the short end. There were three people who were 3-1, and
I had one extra game loss, so therefore I didn't make it out.
Yeah, that happened in a lot of pools, I think. That
yeah,
year.
I saw more than one that happened in, actually, looking at all the pool sheets.
It's still terrible and should never happen at a national.
Yeah.
Never.
Okay, in the TO's defense, there are some really awkward turnout scenarios in which you have to decide between, say, like 16 pools of 5 or 8 pools of 10, and sometimes with the schedule that you're allotted, there's no easy answer to that, and you kind of have to maybe go with the 16 pools of 5 top 2 advance to save on time.
You know what I've done in some scenarios is like have a system where you have kind of a number that's slightly less than a power of 2, and then if there's ties, then you just like have like wild cards that you can put in the extra slots. I stopped doing that just because I feel that's it's saying too much about like the skill level of a pool, which is going to vary which can vary wildly. So I don't do that anymore. But that is one solution if you're like dead set on avoiding people with only one set loss getting eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah. The interesting thing about bracket pools, top 2 advance versus top 4 advance. A lot of people don't realize this. Top 2 advance, if you have, like, say all the seeding plays out, there's a lot of double jeopardy scenarios where somebody gets double eliminated by somebody. I mean, that's just a thing that happens. You can't really avoid it. With top 4 advance, it's much less likely, and the winner of that loser's semis set is going to face somebody new in the next phase of the tournament format instead of facing the loser of winners, which it's probably a rematch already. So highly advocate the top 4 format. I'm really glad that everything except Melee Phase 1 is using that at Apex. That's good to see.
Although,
sorry, go ahead.
Even top 4 can't avoid that because at my EVO pool last year, I played 3 people in winners, and then I played the exact same 3 people in a row in losers in the same order.
That's a seeding problem. So seeding.
It's really no. Well, I don't blame them because I don't know. It just was a strange bracket.
Yeah,
that would be
still
like
to this day, I don't know if that has ever happened.
If you seed perfectly, that doesn't happen. Though.
Right, of course. But like one of them was like a Peach player from Mexico who like was decent and nobody could have really seeded for him.
Yeah, that's interesting. That means
one of those
literally your half of the bracket had like at least 5 of the top 6 players then, or something like that. For
no,
that
not necessarily because like
so many rematches losers.
But I think I was the only person who had rematches.
Okay.
And I had all of them in a row.
Well, that was a test of your adaptation skills. Sheldon.
Absolutely.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. But the way I did the transitions from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3, there really shouldn't be any rematches at all, unless I overlooked something. I made sure that people from like totally different pools are in the losers bracket of other pools. So like
the different bracket pools for the next format.
And
they get totally shuffled.
I have another salty story. I had Dr. Pee twice in a row at pound 5.
twice in a row.
Wow. In, like,
Yes, he was
round
my
one
round
pools?
2 and round 3 pools, and it
Oh.
sucked.
That is the one issue with multiple rounds of round robin.
Yeah,
So many rematches happen if you do more than 2 rounds.
yeah. We made a couple mistakes with that at Genesis too, because we had 3 rounds of pools and then bracket, and I think Taupe and SFAT had to be were in the same pool, round 2 and 3, but that was there's so many matchups that you have to consider that it's difficult to catch all of them.
Yeah. I've actually never been to a tournament that had 3 rounds of pools.
They're hard.
Yeah.
They're really hard.
Yeah, I hear about all the infamous like death pools from various towns.
The Towns and Genesis events.
I think those are epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought of another random thing I should mention. Back to the floor plan per second. So like, I'm not sure if this has been done before, but it was an idea I had. The TO desk is in the middle of the room.
Oh, of course.
It's smack in the middle.
Yeah.
It's basically an information kiosk, if you could think of it that way.
Yeah, people underestimate that. You know, if it's at the one end of the room, all that extra walking adds up, and it's just inefficient. You know,
and also like previous Apex has always had a giant crowd of people trying to talk to the TO, and it's always a mess.
Worst.
So by having the TO accessible by all 4 sides, I think that would actually improve communication by a lot.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it works in practice. I've never been to a tournament that did that before, to my knowledge.
Yeah. EVO did it last 2 years, and it definitely was huge. I mean, having it in the...
Okay, yeah. I guess with EVO, I never had to go to the TO desk for anything.
Speaking of that, when is the Melee Omni panel going to be uploaded? Anyone know?
Never.
Good question.
It's going to be...
People still bug me about that.
Lost
and I feel
footage
terrible.
forever. Someone contact Arturo Sanchez and get him on that.
Yeah. People bug me about it because apparently it was really good, but yeah, I wish it was up.
We'll see. Is there anything else that we want to talk about with Apex that people should know about, Mike?
Well, yeah, something else. I'm not sure if this has been announced or not, but I might as well say Dakota, who's the production manager, he's been working on actually having an analyst desk for Melee.
Oh.
Or actually, I think it's even just for Final Say in general, where in between matches, they can cut to the analyst desk where, like, Wife and, I don't know, Scar and someone, and, I don't know, there will be a panel of people who basically, like Sports Center, just, you know, talk about nothing related to sports or Smash in this case.
I'm on the desk. Am I?
Actually, I think you might be.
Yeah. I am, I know.
Yeah, I think it's you, Wife, and Scar. But anyway, that's in the works. An analyst desk. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's definitely like the right direction in terms of production of esports events in general.
Can we put Robin on it?
You can email. You can email Dakota.
It's late in the game.
Yeah.
We'll see. I would love to, but what's best for Apex? It's super late now.
I guess one other thing I want to emphasize is that so even though like I think we have Apex as a really, really solid foundation this year, but it still comes down to the volunteers. You know, we have, you know, I think it's at any given time 16 pools for Melee, 8 pools for 64, 8 pools for Brawl, and 16 pools for Wii U, like again at any given time. And each of those needs a pool captain who's not playing during that wave. And we have a lot of volunteers. That's currently being, like, people who signed up in advance. That's going to be processed because I finished the schedules to see when players are actually available to volunteer. But it's possible that after that's all processed, we'll see, like, there's still vacancies in terms of, like, oh, well, we need, you know, 4 more pool captains for this wave. And because everyone will know in advance, like, when they're free, because everyone will have, like, a personal schedule available to them. If we make a post and we're saying, hey, we need volunteers, like, please, like, look at where the vacancies are and see if your schedule lines up for it, and then please please step up and volunteer and help us, like,
I'll run my
some
own
of those
pools.
Same as Sheridan. If you can't find a pool captain for my pool, I'll run it.
Yeah.
I don't care
I
if
don't know. I can trust you guys.
volunteers can't be playing in their own pool. I'll do that.
I mean, it's bracket pools. It's like no effort for
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still easy.
such experience as us.
And like,
No,
So
I
it-
understand. It's super hard filling those vacancies. We had the same thing at Big House, and that's a round robin pool, so you need like twice as many volunteers
yeah.
for the same per entrant. You know, so dude, it's hard. Good luck on that. It's gonna make the tournament a lot better though if the volunteers are assigned to pools.
yeah, and you know, one of my pet peeves about tournaments in general is I hate when I go to a national and the person's like, "Can you captain this pool?" And I'm like, "I just want to focus on playing."
Yeah.
So I definitely want to try to make sure that we can actually have people who are not playing run each pool. And I see Short Fuse in the chat saying that his program can schedule captains as well.
Yeah, I think that should be fairly straightforward. It's just an extra constraint. Like
Yeah.
you're in this wave, you're in this wave.
You can just
So you're open in
pretend
this
like
wave.
it's an extra game almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're entering an
Yeah.
event
Yeah.
your event is volunteering or pool captaining.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
That's amazing, by the way, dude. I got to get on this scheduling program stuff.
Yeah, reach out to Short Fuse. I'll help you guys get in touch if you want his
Yeah.
contact information. So just hit me up after this.
Awesome. Frog,
Um,
you've been sitting there for like ages. Is there any question you want to ask to Mike about Apex or anything in general? What's up, Frog?
Well, nothing really to ask him, but this was just brought to my attention. Definitely a good point. Going back to what we started off the show with, recently we spoke about, having kind of that Yelp for TOs and whatnot, and it's definitely something that we gotta figure out because, we are still very, very grassroots. We're not esports by any sense of the means. Any sense of the means? Any sense of the word? Wow. Anyway, but that being said, there really isn't much for a lot of people to go to when things like this occur, especially a place that is safe where someone can reach out. And, while we have taken huge strides, there's definitely a lot more work to do. And, yeah, for things when it comes to reporting harassment. And every event, it seems like, has policies about, what happens with harassers. And I'm not sure how often people speak up about what happens, but, we're seeing why they don't if they're being, lambasted for it. But all that being said, we definitely have some work to do. And this is going to have to be something community-wide. It isn't just Melee, it isn't Smash 4, it's not PM, it's not 64, it's not Brawl, it's all Smash that has to figure this out. But I think that's it for me.
Awesome.
all right. I see a couple things in the chat I guess I can address.
Sure.
One is when pools are going to be out, since everyone must know that. They will be out on Thursday before I go to sleep.
Whoa, that is earlier than I thought. That sounds awesome.
So honestly, that kind of has to happen because I'm going to MagFest from Friday through Sunday.
Oh yeah, I think
So-
Gimmer is too.
Oh, honestly, like MagFest is amazing. If you haven't,
I went to
before.
MagFest in like 2005, and it was freaking amazing, even though it was still like pretty small at that point.
MagFest is huge now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to that, and I'm not planning on doing anything Apex related that weekend. So they have to be out before then. There's no way around it.
Yo,
Then
that fantasy draft, game is gonna be strong this weekend, Daniel. I'm in.
All right.
Mike Hayes, Hecto Hertz. We're getting off topic. Sorry.
I'm kind of sad that I'm not playing because I want to defend my fantasy draft title. But
You're banned from this fantasy draft because you can be like, yo, this guy's going in this pool. I gotta take down Juggle Guy in my fantasy draft.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would like to do a fantasy draft. I just think I have too much on my plate already. I don't want to distract myself.
Yeah.
There's one other thing that I saw in the chat I wanted to address, but I don't remember what it is. But I guess back on the subject of pools. So yeah, they're going to be out on Thursday, and people have the weekend to complain. Pretty much like if they got matched versus their friends in a pool, then okay, we'll fix that. So over the weekend, people can submit requests for pools adjustments, and then we'll make those adjustments Monday and Tuesday, and then lock in the pools at that time, and then that'll be it in terms of pools.
Amazing.
So that's the timeline I have in mind. Do you guys have any questions about?
Dude, that pretty much covers
logistics?
everything in my mind. I don't know about you guys.
Thank you very
I think
much.
so. Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on, Mike, and going through
No
that
problem.
entire, Alex Stripe situation, the EVO lineup to Apex logistics transition.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to end on a positive note regarding Apex.
Yeah,
And
for
I'm
sure.
glad you guys looking forward to it.
Not an easy lineup of topics. This is a very interesting show, but yeah, you guys did a good job wrapping it all together, I think, and I'm very excited for EVO and Apex, both of these tournaments. We finally have an idea, because after a national, you say when's the next national? We're finally not going to have that dead period.
Yeah.
This is whenever we have that dead period, it's kind of it makes you worry for what the casuals talk about, what direction the scene is going in. But yeah, we have direction again. I feel pretty good about it.
When is EVO, by the way? I know it's probably July, but is it the same
July
weekend? It's like the
17th,
second.
18th, and 19th.
17th
Yes.
at the
Alright.
Paris Hotel, same location as EVO 2013. Yes, I keep those cards with me. They are a good luck charm. I think we are just about ready to wrap it up, guys. Any words?
Okay.
You
let's
Two
start
want
with
to
things.
talk for
Tackle.
like 2 minutes about Paragon? Is that a thing? Just because we're not going to have a chance to address this again. Do you want to do 2 minutes on it? What do you say?
Florida's good.
Everyone take one topic of Paragon. One topic on Paragon.
Daniel, what's your topic? Paragon.
The home field advantage is real. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Sheridan, any narratives that you found compelling?
I'm just gonna wait to our pre-Apex show to talk about it.
All right. So for me,
I don't wanna blow all my talking points right now.
which translates into he wasn't ready to talk about Paragon. He's got nothing to say.
That's correct.
I think for me, Plup kind of elevated himself from somebody that a lot of casuals didn't really know about, despite Plup placing super well at nationals. He placed 9th at 3 of the top 4 majors last year. He finally had kind of a big breakthrough tournament. He beat Westballs, he beat Leffen. So I think he's going to be in contention already, an early contender for top 10 SSBM rank 2015. He's already kind of in there right now. It's the ball's in his court for him to, that top 10 status.
I do have something though, actually. I think if Armada doesn't take a set from Leffen or Hungry Box at Apex,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to say that he's number 2. And
Yeah.
you could even make a case that number 2 is really up in the air as of right now.
It is. It's as much up in the air as it's ever been, really.
Yeah.
At this very moment. Honestly, I'm looking at Apex. I literally have no idea who's going to win. And it's so exciting. I really like that part about it.
You know what's crazy? Armada has a 20% win rate in 2015 against the Big Six.
Wow.
2015's off to a rough start for Armada.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, PP just sitting back in his chair, playing against Twitch, studying videos, and doing that laugh from that video on YouTube.
And everyone
that
around
Frog
says
always,
PPMD is going to take Apex, so
that would be the most troll result of Apex. PP's just like, yeah, guys, I'm still in there.
You know, I actually go with PP because of the home field advantage is definitely real. Like if you look at the splits of all the top 15 players, look at them on West Coast and East Coast, there is a huge discrepancy. Like if
I
you
gotta look at these stats. I haven't analyzed the geography of these majors and the results.
Like you look at PP on the West Coast versus PP on the East Coast, there's a huge discrepancy. Mango on the West Coast versus Mango on the East Coast, huge discrepancy. Hungrybox on East Coast versus Hungrybox on West Coast, EVO pending, like it's huge.
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
And PPMD does not have any 90-10 matchups or 10-90 matchups, and I think that's what I'm on. You have Mewtwo King that has to avoid Armada, Leffen has to kind of avoid the Marts, Hungrybox has to avoid Mango, and when you have a 10-90, it's hard to win.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think PP's like.
But I mean, it can happen. I mean, Wobbles at EVO avoided Armada, and that got him second place.
But we're talking about winning. Like to win, you have to
Sure,
absolutely
but still,
avoid
like,
yeah, that's
I
true.
feel even getting to grand finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
that's our Paragon recap. Had a lot on our plate to discuss tonight, so sorry if we couldn't get to Paragon as much as we would have liked.
Oh, I want to say is I think Samus is the anti-20XX.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of people saying Samus
I
Fox.
think Marth will be the anti-20XX.
I like Marth as the anti-20XX, but there are a lot of whispers now. People saying Samus Fox is Samus' favor. I don't know.
That's insane. I think
It was insane a couple years ago, but look at the recent results. Maybe it's not so insane anymore.
perhaps.
I don't know. Or maybe Chillin' and Leffen.
Paragon.
The only thing they share in common is that suckiness versus Samus. Maybe that's Prague. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah. My Paragon point was going to be, dude, Mewtwo King. He really got. Like he was gonna get full stocked in grand finals when it switch. But I think it definitely makes things interesting because M2K on Facebook over there is saying I want to withdraw. I'm probably not going to play because I've been playing Smash 4 so much. I'm not confident my melee skill. Goes on, gets second.
He does that all the
If
time.
that's your bad day, I would kill for your bad days.
I mean, we heard similar excuses before Big House, did we not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
and
always hear.
It's something we hear.
We always hear the pre-Johns.
Mewtwo King's post-tournament interviews are the most predictable thing in the history. He talks about, I beat Leffen again. Martha's really limited. Sheik is really limited against Spaceys. 20XX. By the way, twitch.tv/Mewtwo King. The script's the same every single interview.
Yeah.
And might as well label every of the post-tournament interviews by M2K as just like 5 minutes of Johning. I want Gimmer to do that. Anyway.
Yeah, I think we're about ready to close out the show. So
Yeah.
Last PSA.
we all move forward.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sign up for your hotels, buy your EVO passes early, and budget for the summer. Do it now, or you pay a lot more later.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, that's me.
Yes.
Stick with it.
Sheridan,
Yes.
any last words here?
Yes. Yeah.
I love everybody.
Sharon.
Yo, I want to give a couple shout-outs. My last words on this show. Nintendude for doing great work behind the scenes. Hecto Hertz and G-Town Tom are the two other people who just come to the top of my head as people who are doing great behind the scenes work for Apex. You might not necessarily know about. If Apex goes smoothly or a lot more smoothly this year than in years past, these are three people that I think you should thank first. As long as with Christmas, D1, there's a bunch of other people, but I'm saying like behind the scenes, people probably are not these are not so visible because they're doing a lot of the work, scheduling seating. Nintendo, G-Town Tom, and Hectohertz. I've seen really good stuff so far.
Thanks, Rob.
And that's it from me. Prague, want to wrap it up?
I'll wrap it up then. So, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, a big thank you to both Doom and Nintendo for hopping on the show tonight. Secondly, to everyone that has come forward, like I said before, words can't do much. We can only hope that we learn from this and that no one else has to go through anything like this in our community. That said, 2015 is going to be one hell of a year.
Oh, yes.
And apparently, I got called out by Mr. Wizard.
I saw that.
During the
I saw that.
show. Apparently,
Well, what did he say? Anyone know?
Here's
Yeah.
this tweet.
Oh.
Can you convince Prague to return to commentary for a three-peat?
Yo!
well, I've worn this shirt, I guess, twice in Vegas. I can make it 3, I guess. I'll do it.
Yes!
One more time, why not?
Hey, can somebody karma horror that right now and put it on Reddit?
It's already there. I guarantee it.
All right.
Put it up. The clip,
But
the soundbite. Put it up on Reddit. Karma whore it.
Hey, if it's a bad post, I'll get
all
rid
that
of
being
it.
said,
I'm just kidding.
Damn it, we forgot to make the EVO mega thread on Melee and on me. Now there's like a
Uh-oh.
million. Well,
I
enjoy
think we're
that,
about to
mods.
wrap it up. I'm talking to our producer, but I think we are about ready to wrap it up. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I think we have 1,200 of you guys, which slightly exceeds the number of entrants at Apex. It's always good, people are. Pardon me. People are always so excited over matches and things, and it's always good when people take investment in the growth and the direction of the scene. So that's for you. And then I'm ready to call night. Nick, our producer, are you there, Nick? Double D? Double D's
Right.
one down. All right, looks like we're ending the show. Oh. All right, splash screen is up. I think we're going to close it out with a video, right, Nick? Nick, in the Skype chat, if you can play that video for me. Sure, once we play that, we can call it a night. But again, thank you all for tuning in. Guys, please start training now. Start saving everything. Because it's expensive. The Vegas is a great place to experience. The Paris Hotel is phenomenal. Thank you all. And if we don't see you in Jersey, we will see you in Vegas, I guess.
Yes.
All right, I'm ready to close it out. Double D, are you ready? All right, have a good night, guys.
We were close to not having a stream at all, but because of all your voices, that we are here, that you are seeing some of the finest in the world.
And that is it. So good from Chris G. So close.
ATX Zach played excellent.
Yes,
And
yes.
he played great yesterday. He played good today. He just ran into a wall of a player.
Evolution 2013 Street Fighter Finals. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting, I believe, what is known as a humdinger. There's a lot of emotion in this room. There's a lot of emotion at this desk. saying, Dago, I know you're a fan of your low forward. This is where you want to stick it out. I'll be ready to counter. Oh, beautiful stuff. Both players ready for each other there.
This it. Is this it?
This blocker from Florida going to be the EVO champion 2013.
Oh, wait a minute.
Here we go.
Justin! Justin won!
Reset the bracket! He's doing the impossible!
My God, do not tell me. Okay, y'all. All right, Sama stays alive.
You go look at him, he's feeling it.
And this is the loser side, man. Look at those wide eyes. Caffeine is in that boy.
Has taken it, and there is his country teammate Z.
Up there with a huge hug, Singapore, your Evolution 2013 champion. The crowd chanting EVO. It's like you scripted, but it writes itself. It's emerging just naturally. You just put amazing people in a room, have them duke it out. What rises to the top is just an incredible story.
For Evolution 2013, EVO out, huh?
See you next year.